Scarlet and Violet DLC has finally been revealed. So today I'm going to share 5 Pokemon theories that I've been thinking about. What's up everyone, it's Dusty, welcome back to my headcanon. Let's begin with the Teal Mask. Number 1, I think Ogerpon will have 4 to 5 alternative masks or forms. To understand this, we need to start with the DLC trailer. We are shown a deliberate hint in this tall ogre that is being chased by the 3 guardian Pokemon that we were introduced to as well. Okidogi, Pheasantipiti, and Munkidori, which honestly to me, these Pokemon look like they could be stand-ins for starter Pokemon. They look like mid-stage fire, grass, water starter Pokemon. But when we look at this tall ogre, this is probably gonna be an alternative form to Ogerpon. Maybe this is the original form of the Pokemon and the art depicts the story of what Ogerpon looked like before it was sealed away or weakened by the Teal Mask. We're also shown a bunch of masks that look very similar to Okidogi, Pheasantipiti, and Munkidori. All of these masks look similar to these new Guardian Pokemon, but not identical. Because the Pikachu and Eevee masks look identical to the Pokemon that we know and love, I think in this image we can assume that these other masks also look identical to Pokemon that we have not yet seen. And the Pokemon would be alternative forms of either Ogerpon or these other 3 Guardian Pokemon. But currently, they don't look like anything that we've seen yet. So how does this all tie together? Ogerpon is a mischievous Pokemon to me. It looks like a fairy type. And I think it's gonna have a new form for the Teal Mask, but also for each of these Guardian Pokemon. The cover art for the Teal Mask shows Ogerpon hiding behind its mask. We get a glimpse of what it could look like behind that terrifying mask, which maybe suggests that this Pokemon is, sad and lost and shy, and it uses the mask to give it confidence and also strength. So it's got its current leaf mask, and what this could be is fairy dark type to give it that actual scariness. I think it's gonna have a dog mask, a pheasant mask, and a monkey mask. Each of these would be fairy grass, fairy fire, and then fairy water respectively. Now these could be classic legendary form changes like the Gen 5 genies or like Pokemon like Rotom. However, I think this could also be tied into terastallization and the common theory that states DLC will introduce a new type of form-changing Terraform, which Professor Corey dubs Terramax. And like I said before, I think alternatively, each of these Guardian Pokemon could have access or use the Teal Mask, the thing that we see Ogerpon wearing. And each of these Guardian Pokemon will then get their own new form. A lot of the imagery we see of the Teal Mask DLC parallels The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Simply saying Majora's Mask and the Teal Mask are similar might be a little shallow, but I think it could be interesting if we draw a comparison to Ogerpon and the main character Link in that game. Link travels throughout that game collecting specific masks where then he can then transform into the actual species that the mask is based on. So in the Teal Mask, we have these 3 guardians, which are grass, fire, and water. And in Majora's Mask, we have the Deku Mask, the Goron Mask, and the Zora Mask. Link doesn't just gain access to new abilities. Link actually becomes indistinguishable from these different types of people when he puts the mask on. I think Ogerpon could do a very similar thing where it has a new mask for each of these Pokemon, and then those powers get projected onto it. We have a limited amount of information at the moment, but I think all of these could be possibilities. Number 2, I think there's gonna be 4 new Paradox Pokemon that we find and get access to in the DLC, and these 4 Pokemon will be Raikou, Entei, Cobalion, and Terrakion. The new Paradox we got for Suicune and Virizion were very strange right off the bat. I think all of us were expecting to get new Pokemon that appear like fusions, which is what was depicted in Heath's journal. Well, that's not actually what we got at this time. I still think it's a possibility that these other Paradox Pokemon exist, and Heath basically saw different body parts of all these different Pokemon at different times throughout his time in Area Zero. So when he drew together his sketch, it resembled a Pokemon that had all of these different body parts fused together. Imagine if each of these legendary Johto Pokemon had a Jurassic Paradox form. If Entei got a Paradox Pokemon, I would love to see something like this. This Pokemon would be called Volcanic Roar. It was given fire rock type by the artist, but I definitely would want to see it be a fire dragon type. I mean, this Entei Paradox is based on a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then the Raikou Paradox would be Raging Thunder. This is either an electric flying type or again an electric dragon. It's based on a pterosaur that summons rain and thunderstorms Either of these designs would be great. And of course, the Violet Paradox of Cobalion and Terrakion would be metallic in nature. Let's move on to number 3. There's no Kalos DLC. This is a bitter pill to swallow. I think all of us were a little bit disappointed. It looks like the Spanish translation or term for Kitakami actually means north. I really think Kitakami is located in that northern part of the map, that northeastern part of the map that's blurred out. That is Kitakami, and then the indigo disc is going to be located somewhere else. I think it would be nice if there's some sort of acknowledgement somewhere within Kitakami that location borders Kalos, or at least just a reference. I think all of us really want our Pokemon games to feel interconnected and make references to older games. That's really what it comes down to. If we were ever going to get post-game Kalos content, this would have been the time. Number 4, Area Zero is not done. I still think there's going to be something in Area Zero that we have to go back to. The name of this DLC expansion is the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. The Time Machine has not, we don't have any more information about the Time Machine. Where are these Paradox Pokemon coming from? They're not going to be coming from anywhere else. I think Area Zero is still going to be a main focus of the DLC. I would love to see more cave systems, right? New biomes within the area. I think alternatively, if we were able to reactivate the Time Machine, we could then see Area Zero from a future or past timeline or perspective. And number 5, Terapagos is underneath Paldea. There's a long history of the third legendary Pokemon having an additional form, especially one that looks like a dragon. This cute little turtle, I think, is going to be adorable and look like a mythical Pokemon. But I think it's also going to have a secret form where it basically is the size of Paldea, living underneath the water. I think the Terra core of Terapagos' shell is Area Zero. I think all the different typed scales all over its back are what's controlling and triggering Terra raid dens throughout Paldea. This turtle is projecting everything throughout the region, giving Pokemon access to new Terra types and possibly also creating Paradox Pokemon. We're all familiar with the World Turtle mythos. I think Terapagos could easily have a dual dragon type form where it is monumental. I'm not sure if players will be able to capture and wield this gigantic form of Terapagos, but I think it might serve as a final boss similar to Eternatus in the final Necrozma form. Here's a couple more theories that I discussed with Soul Silver Art in the Lumiose post. How big do you think Terapagos is?
I imagine it could probably change size drastically. Yeah. I think that Terapagos is going to be like Arceus, where like that is like an avatar of it.
Yeah. Like that. So basically, the second DLC is also after or based on a Japanese folklore tale.
Urashima?
Yeah, you know the name. I don't know.
I know the name. I do not know the tale.
The tale is, so basically what happens is this guy is a fisherman and he sees some punk kids beating up on this little turtle. It's a little turtle, okay? And they're bullies, whatever. So he pays them to go away. And he saves the turtle's life because it was going to die. Turtle's all happy and whatever. So he sets it free back into the water. The next day he goes out fishing in the same area. The turtle comes up to him, same one, like, and it starts talking to him because that's what happens in these stories, you know? And it's got like superpowers basically. He talks to him. He's like, thank you for saving my life. All this stuff. I want to take you to this palace of the Dragon King, which is Ryujin, which is like a huge Japanese deal. Like it's what Thundurus is based off of.
Yeah, I was about to say, I recognize the name. I was like, ain't there a Pokemon based off that?
Right. So he lives under the sea. He's a Dragon King. Whatever. I'll get into that later. Anyway, the rest of the story goes that he gets on the turtle, and the turtle, he's like, how can I get on top of you? Because the turtle's like tiny. Turtle grows to like massive size. So that's probably how that ends up. I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but basically he goes down there, he meets the Dragon King's daughter, that's like a princess, and he marries her, which is crazy. He's down there for 3 days. It's like the best time of his life, and he's like, dude, I got like old parents and they're like, they need to be taken care of, and I miss them so much. I gotta go just take care of them and I'll be back in a day. And the princess is like, okay, you can go, I guess. I don't know why you want to leave me. And she gives him this box, and the box is to protect him. And she says, never open the box. This is the moral of the story to little kids at the end.
This is the hidden treasure.
Yeah, it is a box of, it's a treasure. She gives him the box and she's like, don't open it. The moral of the story is listen to people. The turtle takes him back to the shore and he goes and he's like, everything looks the same, but everything's different. It turns out that 3 days down under in the water was 300 years up on the land, but he was still young.
This is sick. So, this is the time travel.
Right, it is. Has to do with time. A lot to do with time. And so he goes looking for his parents and they're long gone and he's like distraught and he's like, I don't even know what to do. Maybe if I open this box I'll get some treasure or something. He opens the box, it turns him into an old man. It was like all of his years, basically all of his years hit him like in the face and he becomes an old man and then he dies. Yeah, so that's the story. That the place is underwater. That's the big thing. Like it is literally the same thing that we're doing. Like,
but if the school is underwater, I wonder how that equates to the Dragon Palace.
Right. And I don't know, but what I'm thinking is that
Terrapagos.
It's
Terrapagos.
Terrapagos.
It's Galapagos with Terra. That's all I know. Anyway.
Yeah. Terrapagos is how they pronounce it in the trailer.
Yeah. I think it's gonna become a dragon. Naturally.
Yeah. That is what most third legends do.
Or we could have like a princess Pokemon. The princess is a big thing in this story.
You know what would be cool? Like this is, I'm kind of derailing a little bit, but if Terrapagos is like it has a baby evolution, and
like Manaphy?
and like right when you get to Blueberry Academy, you like see kids like beating up a little turtle Pokemon, and you go and fight them and leave, and then later comes back Terrapagos.
I think actually, I mean, probably what it is that Terrapagos is the baby Pokemon, right?
Maybe.
And then like you said, Soul, it's gonna evolve into or have a form change.
Yeah.
Into a dragon of some sort.
I think there's definitely more to that turtle. Like it's gonna become something else.
There's definitely more to the turtle. This might be like the most important legendary Pokemon we've had since Arceus.
In both of these stories, the thing that we're leaving out that is huge is the connection to Area Zero. Like there has to be something with Terrastal and all of that. And if you look at the turtle, it doesn't really have a form.
No.
It's literally those gems. Light. Yeah, and then like the hair looking thing is actually like not energy. Hair. It's like exactly. It's all energy based. So
it's like its core is what you can see up top, but there's like a core in there, a crystal, and then seeping out of it is just like energy. And the way I would look at it like that is
in a shell.
It could be that as well, but I look at it as like it's basically this is the thing that can project anything. It can project, it can create whatever it wants, whether it's typing, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's reality, and that like thing that's seeping out of it is the mist we see at Area Zero.
It has to tie back to Area Zero and all of the things. Like I'm not forgetting all the theories that I made on this thing, not because out of pride or anything, but it has to connect to like all of that.
Yeah.
It made Terrastal at least. So there's something going on with it more with Sada and Turo and all of that. So it's
right.
got.
I mean, both seem very Terrastal focused just because we know the turtle created Terrastal. And then Ogerpon has like very Terra Shard reminiscent things on it.
Yeah.
Well, we know a lot about Terrastal, like that it is basically an energy source that can do like anything. It's like basically infinity.
Yeah, I mean, it allowed the professors to travel through time.
They've given us a lot right here in one trailer, but I think they're not telling us everything. I mean, obviously, there's more to learn.
No, they're definitely not.
But Scarlet and Violet held so much back. They didn't even tell us anything about Area Zero.
They did reveal quite a bit. I don't know if there's so much more left. Like, that was one of my biggest complaints, I'd say, is like these Pokemon that we got, I'm not really excited about. And I'm like, this is kind of it. At least for the first pack. So, and I was going to say the second DLC, like, they didn't show us much. They just showed that it's like a battle facility and that the turtle exists. I think that there's going to be... They showed those 4 characters too, so they have a purpose. And if you notice, they don't have their Pokemon out. Like, so we have the 3 starters out, but on the other side, we don't have the other people's Pokemon out.
Because there's more Pokemon there, but they ain't going to show us them.
Yep. Something's missing. Which is, it's just like how the other DLC was. They didn't show us. They showed us mostly the first pack, and then the second pack was a little more mysterious. So
yeah, and the second pack had more in that one too. I mean, it had way more in the first.
They would probably call new regional forms Paldean forms because it's still right off the coast of Paldea. Like
that is an interesting point.
It's connected. Like what would they call it?
Kitakamian forms. Forms.
Right?
We did
what would they call them?
Yeah, we did talk about it earlier, like the locations. We don't know where the locations are for sure. Like it's just pure speculation.
Yeah.
But I think that the Blueberry Academy is right off the coast of Paldea. It's like where the Azores is probably supposed to be and where Atlantis would have been.
Azores would make sense.
Yeah, so I think that it's all of
sphere.
that combined together. That's where I think it is. There's also a picture of a map and you're talking about 230 returning Pokemon. Where are we going to do this? It's not in like a little base underwater. There's going to be a whole land underwater, and there's probably going to be a big chunk of
Dusty, do you have that screen where like it has the base information for them? It says most of the academy is under the ocean. Yeah. Most of is the key word there.
I think it's going to be bigger than what we're seeing right now.
Absolutely. Did you notice especially the girl's outfit? But it's very reminiscent of like a scuba suit.
Yeah, it's supposed to be aquatic, I think, because they're going underwater. Like the whole thing is underwater.
She looks sick. She looks like a champion.
Okay. I will point out too, I've mentioned this before on here, but Koraidon and Miraidon have a special sound effect.
Yes.
When you go off a waterfall and they go underwater, they make a little noise. Do you think Koraidon and Miraidon might be able to swim underwater?
Yeah.
In these, like, do you think we'll get to explore underwater in these games?
Yeah.
Or will it just? I mean, that dude. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be legit.
And there's also if there's diving in this game, there's also diving in Generation 5.
There's also diving in Generation 3. So ports.
It all comes together.
If you're still watching, hit the subscribe button. And if you liked this video, this clip was taken from Hidden Power, our weekly Pokemon podcast. There'll be a link right here to subscribe there and to my channel. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck hunting.